On the occasion of World IVF Day, we have with us Dr. Preethi Reddy, our IVF consultant. Hello, ma'am. My first question to you is, what is the number one success behind your IVF rates? What is the reason for your success?
First of all, thank you, Dr. Preethi, for having me here on this special occasion, day of World IVF Day. So coming to the question of what is my secret for my IVF success rates, if you happen to look at global success rates for an IVF, it varies between 40 to 55%. Again, that is basically based on the age of the couple, the causes of infertility. So the max success rates for any couple we would probably quote as 55%. And if you have to look at our success rates in the unit, an average success rate of 50 to 55% is what annually we have been achieving. And the reasons, to having maintained these kind of success rates is basically the complete comprehensive evaluation, which we tend to do at the first initial consultation itself. So the answer for every problem of infertility is not just the treatment of an IUI or an IVF. It basically depends upon how well we are able to evaluate them, understand the cause of infertility, optimizing it before we proceed to an IVF. So I think there is a success rate, and not only that, providing a holistic care to the couple again is a very important aspect to achieve the best success rates. Because see, when we see a couple, they're already emotionally drained when they come with a lot of expectations, and then when I tell them that the success rates are just about 50%, then generally it is very, very disappointing to them. So it is very important for us to take them through this whole process of an IVF, be with them, emotionally connected. Being very positive is a very important factor, and obviously with that combined with the best of the protocols, clinical protocols, and the best of the lab technology, added to all this, we have been able to achieve the best possible success rates.
How do you stay ahead of the curve with cutting edge IVF technologies coming out every month, every year? How do you manage to stay updated?
IVF is a very fastly evolving field with a lot of updates and a lot of newest technologies coming every month and year. So it is very important for us to keep ourselves updated with all these technologies, because that's how we tend to improve our success rates. So we tend to update ourselves by keeping us regularly reading the journals, articles, various studies which happen globally, having these training programs, conducting CMEs, and then we have these global annual conferences like ESHRE and ASRM, which definitely we would want to attend, and we have these ad board meetings with best of the specialists globally, and this is how, with a lot of interaction and our peer reviews, we tend to keep ourselves updated with the latest technologies.
How do you tackle the challenge of repeated IVF failures? A couple comes to you and they have had repeated IVF failures, and how do you try to turn it into a success story?
See, as I've told you earlier, the success in any IVF is just about 50-55%. So it means that there is another 45 to 50 patients in a month who actually don't get pregnant. So that is the most challenging part as a clinician which I face. Because see, always the end point of any fertility treatment should be a pregnancy. So there is the biggest challenge when there is a negative. When we talk to the patient post the treatments, it is a very, very difficult situation, because see, they have a lot of expectations and they may think that this is the end of the road and they can never ever become parents. But that's not the case, because it's not always that the first attempt or the second attempt is going to work for them. They need to pursue the treatments until there's a pregnancy on board for them. So it is very important for us to make them understand that we need to proceed with further treatments, but then proceeding with further treatments, they would have been very disappointed. To again regain that kind of a confidence, making them positive, is definitely a challenge. So when we have a negative result, then when we counsel the patients, I think it's more important for us to understand the reasons for the failure. So, where things could have been better, or, what kind of an additional technology would help them. So that kind of assessing the cycle is very important. That actually, instills a lot of confidence in the patient. So when I go ahead with a second cycle, we tend to, look into this, go ahead with adding some other technology, and then, trying to be positive about the whole treatment again.
Is there a limit to the number of IVF cycles which can be tried for a couple?
as such, there is no limit, but we have to be very sensible enough as to, we can't keep repeating the numbers of cycles again and again. We do get to see patients who had 7 to 8 cycles, but then I don't think that's the correct way of, proceeding. So once there is a failure, then it is important for us to assess the cycle and ensure that the second or the max of the third cycle, they should have a pregnancy on board.
So tell us the innovative ways you ensure that patient safety is there and that the side effects of IVF are minimum for your patients.
See, as you know, IVF is a very elective treatment. So it is very important for us to go ahead with an IVF after having optimized the general health of the couple. So when I have a couple walking into the clinic for fertility treatments, be it an IUI or be it an IVF, I think it's very important for us to first check on the general health. When I say general health, it's more to do with their weight, their lifestyle, and their addictions, their hemoglobin, their blood sugars, their thyroid. See, because all this optimization is important, because it's not just for us to proceed with an IVF treatment. They need to have a healthy pregnancy, and only when they have a healthy pregnancy, end of the pregnancy, they're going to have a healthy baby. So the journey starts from here of optimizing it. So we ensure that all this is taken into consideration before I proceed with an IVF treatment for them. Even if it means that we have to wait for a couple of months before I proceed, then we ensure that all these are corrected. Especially we get to see a lot of patients with PCOS who's got a BMI of 40-45. So if we are going to go ahead with the IVF treatment for them, they will definitely end up having problems in pregnancy. So weight loss advices are given. So we definitely wouldn't want to start treatments as soon as they land in the clinic. This optimization, not just the wife but the husband too, optimization is done, and then we go ahead with the treatments. So that is about starting the treatments. But during the IVF treatments also, if a lot of risk can be involved with OHSS, having a lot of weight gain or having a lot of hormonal imbalances and multiples. So for all of these, we tend to have our protocols designed in such a way that we reduce this risk of OHSS and multiples.
There is a myth that IVF treatment, the women who undergo IVF treatment have early menopause. Is there any truth to that?
Women undergoing fertility treatments don't get into menopause early. Whatever stimulation we tend to do in that cycle, we only target at those eggs which come up in that cycle. Whatever hormone injections we give them, they do not actually touch the pool, the ovarian reserve or the primordial follicle pool of the patient. So if I see that in that particular cycle, when she starts off her periods, I see that there are about 10 eggs which come up. I'm going to give injections, hormonal injections, only for those 10 to grow. But these injections will not actually go and touch the primordial follicle pool. Absolutely, it's a myth. Women undergoing fertility treatments don't go into menopause early.
Great to hear that, so the women can be assured with that.
Yes.
Great talking with you, Dr. Preethi. You clarified so many things about IVF and how couples who are in their quest for a biological child can be helped through this wonderful treatment.
Thank you, Dr. Preethi, for having me here, and it has been a wonderful session. Thank you.